If you're the New York Knicks or a New York Knicks fan, you should be ecstatic with how this opening day of free agency has gone for you so far. And now let me say, before I get into things, yes, you have not gotten any of the tier 1 free agents. But there weren't many tier 1 guys this year anyways. It's basically Kawhi Leonard, Chris Paul, not much else up there. So don't feel too bad about that. I will say though that it comes to just maintaining the success they had last year. If you're going to go back and be a top 5 seed in the Eastern Conference again this year, which is what I think you really need to focus on, because you're not going to hit the home runs right now. You're just not positioned to do it. You don't have the reputation to do it. What you need to do is have a couple more winning seasons, a couple more playoff seasons, and then you can get into that category where you're starting to get those big name free agents, starting to acquire guys who are younger, up and coming superstars. You're not at that level yet, but you can get to that point with a couple more winning years, and you're set up to do that with what you've done today in free agency. And most of that comes with just maintaining what you had already. You keep Derrick Rose on a 3-year, $43 million deal. He's been huge for you. It's great bringing him back. Nerlens Noel comes back on a deal that pays, I think, just around $12 million a year. That's huge for him, because when Mitchell Robinson got hurt last year, Noel came in. Noel was fantastic defensively, was the best year of his career, so you got him back. And he was huge for you, just in general. Getting him back, if he continues to play at the level he's playing at last year, will just make you one of the best interior defensive teams in the NBA in terms of just having a guy you can rely on back there to protect the rim, and protect the rim at a high level. You also have Mitchell Robinson coming back from injury, so you're going to have him and Nerlens Noel be your top 2 centers entering the year. You have to feel really good about that depth right there, especially because both of them are getting better now still. Alec Burks is coming back. Guy gets a hot hand every now and then, can contribute as a scorer from the outside. You have to feel good about getting him back on your team as well. So you're keeping some of that shooting, even though you are losing some guys in free agency who are some of your better shooters. Talking about Reggie Bullock, of course. And then the big signing for you. When I say the big signing, I mean it's your biggest free agent signing so far. And probably going to be the biggest free agent signing you make this offseason. Evan Fournier, who was originally projected to go back to Boston, that kind of lost traction in the past couple of days. The Celtics were no longer running with the idea they're going to re-sign him, and they don't. He ends up going to the New York Knicks. Now, Fournier is a guard who played a lot of time with the Orlando Magic, a little bit of a wing player for them. Peaked at 18.5 points per game. I'm bringing that off the stat sheet right here on my computer. So he's peaked at 18.5 points per game. He's never an all-star caliber player, but certainly a good one. And coming into this past year, before getting traded to Boston, he was averaging 19.7 points per game with Orlando before taking a more minor role with Boston. So Fournier is a guard who's going to come in and make a huge impact on the New York Nets, not necessarily because he's won before, but he's gotten Orlando to the playoffs in the past. And he's a very versatile scorer. For his career, 37.9% three-point shooter, with multiple seasons shooting over 40% from three, including this past year where he shot 41.3% from three-point range, despite shooting 6.7 threes per game. So, going to be probably the best three-point shooter on New York's team. Again, a guy who can facilitate, a guy who can handle the ball. Not an elite facilitator, not going to be on the same level as someone like Derrick Rose, but will be enough of a facilitator to create open shots for guys like R.J. Barrett and potentially Julius Randle as well. So you add Evan Fournier to the lineup. Now you're looking at a starting group of maybe Derrick Rose at the 1, Evan Fournier at the 2, R.J. Barrett at the 3, Julius Randle at the 4, and then Mitchell Robinson probably at the 5, but you could see Nerlens Noel coming in quite a bit and getting quite a few reps there throughout the season. That means your bench is going to have Alec Burks, Emmanuel Quickley, Obi Toppin, Kevin Knox is still going to be there if you want to count him or not. So you got to feel pretty solid about where you are at this point in the offseason. You're, of course, going to add some more pieces to that bench. Probably in free agency later on, you're going to get a few guys who are going to come up and add some younger pieces, maybe, who will come out of like the post-draft process. Some maybe UDFAs who can contribute, maybe some low-ranked guys. You're also going to probably go out and get some veterans along the way. There's always a couple veterans who are like in their mid-30s that you end up signing closer and closer to the actual start of the season. So I feel like you're going to add some pieces in the back end there. But so far, you have to like the starting 5 at least, along with the top two guys on the bench, and Quickley and Noel. The concern really comes after that when you have guys like Obi Toppin, Knox, guys who are just young, have not proven themselves to be not worthy of the NBA, but haven't not proven themselves to be guys who can contribute on a consistent basis. So we're gonna have to see how that plays out. But right now, hot start to free agency for the Knicks. Had to feel good about what they've done so far. Things are looking up in New York. Just as long as you don't look over at Brooklyn and see those three superstars over there.